we're live.
We are live.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on where you are. Welcome to our webinar on exhibiting at CHFA Now Toronto. We'll give one short minute for everybody to file in and we'll get started. It won't be a minute, it'll be half a minute. But I do see the number going up, so. In the meantime, we will start with introducing the team, as there are some new faces around the table, the virtual table. So I am Irina Kostagescu. I'm the Director of Events here at CHFA, and I am joined by, why don't I let them introduce themselves in the order that we're in the pictures? So go, Carrie.
I'm Carrie McIver, Event Coordinator, and I work with Irina on the show team.
Hi, my name is Scott Saltz. I'm the Business Development Director at CHFA.
Hi, I'm Lupe. I'm Assistant Sales Manager here at CHFA, and I work closely with Scott and Irina and Carrie.
Hi, everyone. I'm Cindy Liu, and I am the Marketing Manager here at CHFA. Nice to meet everyone.
Perfect. So you know some of us, but some of us are brand new to the show. So welcome to the show, Scott. And Carrie was here with us last year, but only for a little bit, and same for Lupe. So yeah, lots of new smiling faces. Cindy, if you don't mind giving me back the slide with the prompts, just because I'm not going to remember everything that I have to say. So we'll start with an overview of what's included with your booth, what you're already paying for. Then Carrie will give you a bit of a tour of the exhibitor manual and where to find the resources. I'm going to talk a little bit about the union rules because for anybody who is not aware, the Enter Care Center, which is where CHFA Now Toronto takes place, is a union building, and they are quite strict on what you can and cannot do and what the union labor should and should not do. Then we'll talk a little bit about sampling because we know we have a lot of you sampling. And then Scott will have some tips for success at the show. And then we'll just remind you of a couple of deadlines. And just another reminder that this webinar is being recorded. So if you have to pop out, don't worry about it. We will send the recording. For anybody who's missed it, we will send the recording. And we are also taking questions at the end. So please, throughout the session, do type your questions into the Q&A box or the chat, whichever one is more comfortable. We'll check both. And we can answer as many questions as possible. Whatever we don't get to during the session, we will answer via email post webinar. So without further ado, let us begin. Carrie.
All right. So first of all, we'll talk about what's included with your booth. So this list here tells you everything that you have. There is carpet in the booth. The drapery on the back and the side walls are both in white. All exhibitors do get 4 badges. There is a link. We're going to be sending out the slideshow as well afterwards. There is a link to the registration page. So you get 4 free badges. Any additional ones are $30 each. Material handling is also included with your booth, and Incubator Alley. You do have some special privileges here as well. You get half of a product showcase display and 1 online digital listing on yours. So all of that, any more information can also be found on the exhibitor manual as well. So next up is our exhibitor manual. This top list here just is each bullet point is a separate link, so it'll take you to different sections of our exhibitor manual. All details that you need to know for a successful show can be found here. So have a look and make sure anytime you're missing out on anything, be sure to check the exhibitor manual. Next up is our official service providers. Please note that these are the only service providers that will be reaching out to you. So we know that you get a lot of emails and phone calls and all that kind of stuff asking to buy lists or book hotels, everything like that. They will not reach out to you unless they're one of these specific providers. So have a look at that and become familiar with them. Next up are our display rules and regulations. You do want to become familiar with these. It'll give you the parameters of your booth, all that kind of stuff, how you can hang your signs, and anything else you need in here.
And back to me. I get to do the part that nobody likes. So most of the union rules have to do with moving in and moving out, just because those would be the times when you need additional labor. So we'll go over that. And I also wanted to do a little bit of information on moving in and how it works, how the marshalling yard works. So move-in is first come, first served. Do make sure to check the floor plan that has your move-in schedule, so that you're coming within the times that were allotted for your booth. And if you are in a lineup, you will be brought in as soon as possible. Everybody does have to go to the marshalling yard just to report there, but personal vehicles will be allowed to drive right on the show floor. If you've done the show before, you will remember. And if you have not, they will direct you just to make sure that everybody is offloading as fast and as efficiently as possible. If you do drive on the show floor, there is a time limit that we insist you do not push, just because we want to give everybody a chance to offload in time. There is parking, so once you've offloaded, or if you need to, or if you just want to park and bring your stuff in by hand, you can do that. The parking in the surface lots is free only during move-in. So for the show, you will have to get parking passes. And then if you are bringing any banners that will have to be hung, do discuss that with the Enercare Center so that you're arranging for the proper window for delivery, as they do prefer to hang them a little bit earlier than everybody's move-in time when the show floor is not that busy. Cross-Connect, if you're shipping with our official transportation company, Cross-Connect freight does get in before everyone else, so it will be placed in your booth before you arrive at your scheduled move-in time, which is a nice little perk of shipping with Cross-Connect, other than the awesome customer service. And then cold storage shipments, we always want to make this note because we do not check in cold storage freight. It's a matter of liability and a few other complex issues. So we do request that one of your staff is in to receive the freight when it arrives, and you place it in the cold storage area, the cold storage trailers yourself. And then one quick note on move out. If you are picking up on Monday, most of you guys will be picking up or leaving on Sunday night. But if you are picking up on Monday, you have to leave paperwork at the docks so that they know who's coming in, how much stuff they're picking up, what booth, and all of that information. Otherwise, we can't release the freight to somebody who's coming in with no paperwork. There is a continuous issue with theft, and we hear from other shows. So you do want to make sure that you're doing all your due diligence so that your freight gets picked up by the right person at the right time. And now to talk about move-in, which is when most of the union rules will come into play. So again, a reminder, Carrie mentioned it already, material handling to and from your booth from the docks is covered by CHFA, so you don't need to worry about that. You don't need to book forklifts or anything like that. We take care of that. And then once the freight is in your booth, you may start working on your display. So there are a few types of displays where you will not be bothered by the union. So pop-ups, pull-up banners, anything that's sort of manual and easy to put up, they don't have a problem with. However, they do have a problem with structures, hanging banners, and anything that requires power tools or extensive labor. So if there's anything where you normally would hire your display house or some additional labor, they do have to be union. And you will see the form to hire union labor in the Freeman package in the exhibitor manual. If you are working with a display house, those display houses must be union approved. So they also have to hire union labor. If there's a supervisor coming in just to tell people what to do, that is fine. But they cannot be doing the actual physical work. It has to be a union laborer, a union person who does the physical work. So that's it for move-in. That'll make for a very smooth move-in. And then we mentioned this just because I've personally never seen them on the show floor, but they do mention it to us. The Enercare Center mentions it to us, so we mention it to you. Regular dollies are totally fine. We do continue to rent dollies, we do continue to give out dollies during move-in and move-out. However, anything that is motorized or pump trucks are not allowed, because those again can only be used by union labor. As a general rule, anything that is powered even by batteries is not okay. Which brings me to booth cleaning. So no Dysons or vacuum cleaners in your booth. You can hire a crew to do the cleaning in your booth before the show opens, so overnight on Friday. But if there are small things that you can pick up by hand, that's totally fine. But if you need some more serious cleaning, that has to be done by the venue. However, that does not apply to food prep. So when it comes to wiping surfaces and having your food service area cleaned up, that continues to be your responsibility. And AV is the big one, but AV is also the one where I feel most people are aware, as I know most venues are union when it comes to AV. So again, no matter what type of screen, I mean, unless we're talking a laptop, if there's anything sort of the size that you see in the picture, or anything with screens, those also have to be brought in, taken down by union workers. There are specialized AV union workers, so you won't. They will know what they're doing, but you do have to hire them for move in and move out. And this is one where particularly the union keeps a close eye on us, just because we don't have a ton of booths with AV, so they do stand out when there is one, and also because AV takes quite a bit of time to install and dismantle, so there's more time for them to notice that somebody is doing the work. Somebody who's not union is doing the work. So just pay particular attention to that when it comes to bringing screens or anything AV in. And this one is easy. Every venue has it. Catering can only be done through the venue. We cannot bring in, food service from Tim Hortons or order Uber Eats. It has to be done through the catering company. It's OVG Hospitality. And also the nice perk about OVG is that they will cook and deliver your samples. There is a form in the exhibitor manual. So if there's something that you want cooked and you don't have space or capability in your booth, so for example, boiling rice to go as a side or anything like that, do use the form in the exhibitor manual and provide the ingredients and they will cook it for you. Because we're a show that has a lot of food, we do get special exemptions. So full-size sampling is permitted inside the Enercare Center, which is in line with what we normally do at shows. So you are allowed to give out your full samples. And then, of course, alcohol may only be distributed by OVG bartenders. That is, again, a no-brainer. And one last note, we will have a cafe. We will have a concession stand that we open on Friday for move-in, and then it's open for the show days if you need to go grab a quick lunch on the show floor. That's it for me. I pass it on to Lupe, and I will check out the questions. I saw a few of them come in, so as soon as there's a break, I can answer some of them.
Thank you, Arina. I'm just going to give a quick reminder on the early tear down policy. This is for every single exhibitor that is exhibiting at the show under Incubator Alley, independent exhibitors, and also for brokers and distributors. So we ask all our exhibitors to stay put until 5 p.m. on Sunday. That is the last day of the show. So early tear down, including removing samples, removing pull-up banners, or anything from your booth is not permitted. There are a couple of things that we would like to highlight. The first one is being safety. There are a lot of people walking the floor during the show hours, and 5 p.m. is still a show hour. So you're permitted to start your tear down at 5:01 p.m. on Sunday. Not before that, just to make sure that everybody's safe and can walk the aisles uninterrupted. The other reminder as well that we asked to keep your booth intact is that a lot of people, and many of you know that the investment is quite high to be part of our show, and there are a lot of retailers and a lot of people attending the show. They're interested in talking to the exhibitors and getting to know the brands and the products. So that is the time to do business. If you don't have any meetings booked by the end of the show or around 4 p.m., just make sure that you connect with your neighbors or you take the time to do networking. So that is one of the things that we remind everybody. The show starts at 10 a.m. on Saturday and ends at 5 p.m. on Sunday. So all those hours, it should be working at your booth and your booth should be intact. And I would like to remind you, the move out, make sure that you remove all your items by the last day of move out, so you avoid any penalties that might incur with late move out or just moving products or your display outside of the venue. So that's it for me, and Carrie, over to you now.
All right, so next up, a really important one for all of you that are sampling at the show. So for food samples, you do have to submit this form. It goes directly to Toronto Public Health, and then I also receive a copy of it as well. Toronto Public Health, they will send an inspector around. They will be on site, making sure that everybody is following all of these protocols. And one of the other things that we do to talk about, I know a big question is, okay, how many samples do you want? So we say between 500 and 1,000 samples per day, depending on what you are going to be sampling. Also, another reminder to bring enough sampling supplies and samples. We don't have extra cups or spoons or anything like that at our disposal. So you will need to bring extra supplies for it. The application can be found on the exhibitor manual. And again, we do encourage you to submit this earlier, and Toronto Public Health will send you a copy of it as well. Next up is cold storage, ice, and catering. So we do have limited cold storage available on site. It is first come, first served basis, and you can book it through the job form is located on our exhibitor manual as well. The deadline for that is August 20th. This year, they've changed up the way that they are doing ice on site. So anytime, if you do require ice throughout the show, if you could just send me over an email, just letting me know roughly how many you need, because the venue does require sort of a rough estimate, but all actual purchases of ice are to be done on site. They'll be located in exhibitor service area next to the cold storage. And then once it's purchased, they will deliver it directly to your booth for you. So we've asked for hours from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. and those are for the show days only. And next up is we do have just a reminder, temporary hand washing stations. So you will want to actually take a look at the food and safety at special events link, which is also located in the exhibitor manual to ensure that you're following all the protocols. There are a bunch of links in there just highlighting different things that you want to make sure that you're following all the rules. Again, if Toronto Public Health is on site and the inspector comes by, they are able to shut you down if you are not following the specific rules. So have a look and become familiar with that. Next up, this is top tips for a successful show, and I'll pass it over to Scott.
Right on. Thank you, Carrie. All right, so I'm going to give you guys some tips for before, during, and after the show, what you can do to really maximize your experience. You know, a lot of people ask about how can I get ROI from the show? Well, the first thing that you can do is make sure that you reach out to your retailers, your distributors, and your brokers. When you get a booth with us, you have a complimentary promo toolkit in the exhibitor manual. It includes images and a sample copy for email and social. In your signature on your email, I highly recommend that you share your booth number. Do that early, like now, if you possibly can, so that everybody consistently sees you. If they're communicating with you, they know where to find you. Have your booth information on an email and create some excitement. I've seen people say, come by our booth and win a prize, get entered for a draw, do whatever it takes to grab people's attention to come to see you so that they have a little reason to, right? They're not just wandering the floor, passing by and potentially bumping into you. But also, before you speak to your retailers, understand where you fit in a store. And I highly recommend taking a look at both the natural food as well as grocery and mass. What items are going to fit in natural? What department for grocery and mass should you be in? What recommended items do you have? And, you know, make it realistic. So when you're talking to them, you know, 3 or 4 of your top sellers for grocery and mass really makes a lot of sense. During the show, greet people, have fun, scan their badge. Recommend scanning the badge for a couple of reasons. One is that you don't have to take time to write a lot of notes. You can scan it, you can type right in. And also it gives you a printout after the show for easy follow-up. It's fantastic. The other tip that I have for you is that if somebody comes by your booth and they're not necessarily a retailer, there are other business-to-business providers, you want to be kind, but there's sort of, you got a retailer behind them that you want to talk to, scan their badge or take their card, get their information, and tell them that you can follow up after the show, or you'll have information for when you are ready to take a look at that business-to-business service that they provide. The other thing, retailers love to get shout outs, especially if they're a big fan of your brand. Take a selfie with them, put it on social media. There's a lot of fun things that you can do to make it so that people have a positive interaction and makes it easier for follow-up afterwards. And then also really be present and be aware. Don't be on your phone sitting there, looks like you're bored, and really kind of put your best foot forward for during. So for after the show, it's all about follow up, follow up, follow up. Make it happen. Don't let it happen. Thank you, Cindy. Send a thank you email with notes on your discussion points. If you're able to type in some notes on the software, the scanning software, send this also to your distributor, your broker rep, or your brand manager for follow up. If you know that someone has a really great relationship with your distributor or your broker, give them that information to empower them so they know what's going on. It's not a bit of a guessing game. And also go to the store if you can and take a picture of their set. If somebody was really interested in working with you, you're going to want to know where you fit into the store. You're not going to want to ask the retailer to do all the work for them. You're going to want to give recommendations and make it easy. So when you have that interaction on the follow-up, it makes it simple. There's no empty space really in the store. So look where you fit in, have that as part of your follow-up, and think about why your brand should be there instead of another. Because if they have something that they need to remove, they're going to need to understand how you fit into the great picture of their whole entire set and have that why ready for them. All right, Cindy, thank you very much. Okay, so this one is all about the product showcase. So beyond the booth, there's marketing opportunities. How do you draw attention? When people show up and they come into the whole entire facility, they have a chance to take a look at the marketing opportunities of the product showcase. How are they going to lay out their day, and they're going to tour around? Well, if they see you in the product showcase, they can make a note. It's going to be either online as they're prepping beforehand, or the physical display. Early bird prices are available right now until August 8th. There's each shelf is approximately 13 inches deep, 36 inches wide, 16 inches high. Make sure that everything fits in there. Don't block and make everything dark so that other brands around you actually look really good. Incubator Alley brands, you get a complimentary online listing and a half shelf display. So make sure that you take advantage of these things, you guys. This is a really great way for people to plan their route as they're going through. There's also celebration stations available, both alcoholic and non-alcoholic. During happy hour on Saturday, you can draw attention to your booth by having some fun. Share a drink, even if it is with somebody who's already listed your brand. It's always nice to give them a toast and say thank you for the partnership. It's awesome. There's sampling stations at the show at the entrance, like you see in the picture here for Sunday, that's available. And there's also email and web banners. So if you're really interested in creating that excitement, getting people really fully aware of who you are and getting your message out there, check these out. It's all within your manual, and you can reach out to us. There's an order form on a job form as well. We can send this over to you.
Hey, thank you, Scott. And just a reminder, and I know that this has happened before in the past where like exhibitors have put stuff in their displays and forget to bring it back home with them. So please, we do clean these out, and we have to clean them out for our decorators, and we do donate some of those products after the show to the food bank after a certain time. So so please do not put valuables in the displays that may get thrown out. Please only put things that you're okay with letting go, or best thing to do is also just put empty packaging, so there's not actual food products like cheese that could be could get very stinky throughout the day under those hot lights. So those are just some tips if you do have a product showcase display to keep in mind of.
I'll make the same note. I'll make the same note for cold storage. Do not put valuables in the cold storage.
Yes.
And do remember to go pick up your product by 5:30, 6 o'clock, because the food bank does come and empty the trailers of everything, so we can return them again to the company that we booked them from. So if you want your product back, do make sure to drop by and pick it up right as soon as the show ends.
Cindy, before we move on to the next point, if you don't mind, I'd like to back up just for one moment about one more tip that I have, and it has to do with Lupe discussing sticking around until the end of the time. For those of you that know me, I've been around for a long time, and I've been on the distributor and brand side of things, and I've had some of my best success, best meetings between 4 and 4:45. There are retailers that walk around, they're looking for something. They may have had meetings, but they're sticking around till 5. And these are some of the biggest retailers in Canada. The greatest success meetings that you can have are having a moment with them. And if you're gone and you're not there, it's not just about not being penalized by leaving early. It's about being available for those retailers. And the more popular they are, the busier they are, they usually stay right till 5, and you're going to want to be able to capture them.
Yeah.
Thanks, Cindy.
All right. It's a good tip. Next, I'll be talking about a bit more fun stuff. So I don't know if anyone was aware, but your badge does include the conference. So, and this is happening on the Friday, September 20th. It's happening at the Beanfield Center. So if you're setting up and you have some time to step away from setup, to take a break, this is a great networking and learning opportunity for you to even possibly organically meet retailers who are attending the conference even before the show opens on the Saturday. And some topics that we'll be focusing on is really trends and insights and research in the natural, organic, and wellness industry. There's regulatory and advocacy updates, as well as just expert talks to help you grow your business. So I encourage you to go on our website to check out the schedule. It is live right now to see if there's any topics that may resonate with you. And then the next thing is really exciting. This is our CHFA Launchpad competition. So this is happening on the Friday, but for you who are exhibiting and all brands that are exhibiting under brokers, you do not have to be a member to apply, and it is free to apply. And it's a great opportunity. It is our Dragon Den style pitch competition where 8 finalists get to pitch their innovative products to our panel of judges who are industry veterans. We have very exciting, I think, if you guys know Amin from Cedar Valley, he's one of our judges. We have Mary from Grocery Business, who is a judge, and just a great lineup of people that you get to meet. And this year, it's our biggest prize package yet. It's at over $50,000 value. And some of the things that you're getting is really free exposure. You have 15K advertising with Grocery Business. We're working with partners like Hive Naturals to give you merchandising services. As well as with Product of the Year, you get a free entry. And there's also 10K in marketing services with Sparks Marketing Communications. So it's a really exciting opportunity. If you haven't already, please apply. The deadline is July 31st. If you think you have an innovative product that we just need to know about, this is your chance to put a spotlight on that. And the next thing that's really exciting, and I think our team is pumped about this, is our 60th anniversary member mixer. If you were with us in Vancouver, we did a really fun denim and diamonds theme to celebrate our birthday, and a lot of people had a lot of fun with that. It was very well attended, and we're doing it again this year in Toronto at Hotel X on the Friday evening at 6:30 is when it starts. It is for members only. And so we encourage you to come out after your setup, take a break, have some free cocktails and appetizers. And we love a good theme. And this year, the theme is going to be Peace, Love, and Diamonds. We're going back to the 60s and retro theme. So we encourage everyone to dress up for that. And I'm sure I know all of our team is very excited to dress up and have fun with that as well. And that's it from me.
Okay, so next up, we have some important dates and reminders. So you will want to take a look at the exhibitor. On the exhibitor manual, you'll actually find the key dates calendar. You might want to download it and save it on your desktop because there are so many specific deadlines, whether it's for things for CHFA or whether it's for some of the suppliers such as Freeman. There are a lot of key deadlines. Some of them are early bird pricing. You don't want to miss that. But yes, have a look at it, download the calendar and refer to that often. You will find all the different links to the different forms that you require on there as well. So if you're hovering over it, just have a look and click on that deadline and it'll take you to the correct form that you need. Just a reminder, so follow the display rules when you're designing your booth. So again, just refer to the design and display rule guide. You'll want to enter your names for badges. That on the exhibitor manual page, you will find the link for registration. So enter in those badges because they can be emailed to you ahead of time. And then you'll just pick up your holder at move-in. Parking passes, the prices do increase on site. So I encourage you to order those in advance and then you just pick those up on site. Again, we've talked the food safety. Have a look at and familiarize yourself with the Toronto Public Health Safety Form and be sure that you are following all the rules. And also, again, have a look at the move in, move out policy and make sure that you're following everything through there too. Next up, it's just a reminder about our exhibitor product attributes. That is due today. So that would be your sublet forms, any of the brokers and distributors that you're filling out. Please do submit those today. That is due for the printed show guide. Anything that does arrive after today, they won't be included in the printed show guide. It'll be only available online. So again, we do encourage you to fill that out. That link can be found online at our exhibitor manual. And that's it for me.
All right, and the team has done an amazing job answering questions as we were going. So there are actually not many that we need to answer, although there are a couple. So one is from Mira. Can we show an Incubator Alley 5x10 booth so people know how they can do their display? So if we have any pictures of Incubator Alley booths that we've done in the past. I'm going to pass this one on to Lupe.
Yeah, I can send you an email, Mira, with pictures. So just let me see if I have anything available quickly that I can share on the chat, but you can take a look. So just to make sure that all exhibitors are able to have a good setup. What we recommend is just make sure that you, even in your living room or somewhere, that you have a physical idea what a 5x10 is. If you do bring a lot of products, if there are a lot of things in your booth, it can be a little bit crowded. So just make sure that you have a physical idea what a 5x10 is. It's not a huge space, but it's enough to have a clear display. So all Incubator Alley booths, they come with a 4-foot long table that you can place it at the front, on the side, or in the back, however works better for you. And you can arrange your products and display just to make sure that you have room to move and to talk to people that are interested in knowing your brand. Another thing that we highly recommend is bring a pull-up banner or something that can differentiate you from the other companies that are your neighbors. So just something that can show your branding. Most Incubator Alley brands, they put up a banner by the side of the booth or in the back. Just make sure that it's not interfering with your neighbors and not blocking the view. But I can just find a picture and just put it on the chat. If there's any other questions, yeah, so the tables, they come with a drape around. So it's a white top and the drape is black. If you do have a tablecloth that is branded or you have a different color of tablecloth that you would like to bring, you're more than welcome to bring and just put it over. And I think, yes, and you can use your own tables if you have your own. If you don't need the tables that are provided by us, you can let us know in advance, or when you're setting up at the show, just put your table aside and just let one of the CHFA, one of us know we're going to be walking down the aisles during move-in, so we can just get that removed. And
ideally, let us know ahead of time, just because, there's extra time and labor and cost to bringing a table in just to take it away. So ideally, if you know for sure you're not going to need it, do let us know ahead of time. If you're sort of unsure or you decide at the last minute, then that's fine. But if you know ahead of time, do let us know. Lupe, did you have any more, or do you want me to go to the next question?
No, you can go to the next question.
Okay.
I think that's all. I was just checking here. Yep, that's all for Incubator Alley.
Okay. There's another question. Will there be a recording of this available? Yes, there will be. We will send it out, and we will also send out the deck that we shared, and we also post both the recording and the deck in the on our website in the exhibitor manual page, just to make sure everybody has access to the information. Do we still need to submit application for the closed packaging samples, or is it exempt as nothing is opened on site? I'm gonna give this one over to Carrie.
Yes, we do require an application for any type of sampling that is happening. It is required by Toronto Public Health. So whether it's closed or not, people could be walking the show floor and eating the samples. So anything that an attendee is going to be sampling, tasting, and ingesting, it is required that they do have an application. If you do not have an application and Toronto Public Health does come around, they will actually shut your booth down for sampling.
Thank you, Carrie. Next question also for you. How do we get a hand washing station for our booth if we are coming from out of town?
That can actually be ordered through Freeman online. So if you visit the exhibitor manual, it would be under the exhibitor manual, and you can order it online through our suppliers.
And you can also buy the supplies at Home Depot or Canadian Tire, so you can kind of make your own hand washing station with just supplies that you buy in the city. Next up, do we need a washing station if we serve only beverage? So if you're just pouring beverage into a cup, is how I'm reading this one.
If it's just a beverage, no, but if it's being prepared, you do, like if you're mixing a protein drink, that sort of thing, you do require one.
Sounds good. And I can take the next one. How many attendees are we expecting per day? We expect, just based on history, we tend to have around 3,000 people visiting the show. Now, they're not exactly evenly distributed. The Saturday is a little bit busier than the Sunday, but we do have a lot of repeat visitors on the Sunday. So you will see some of the same faces, because what we hear all the time from our retailers is that they do not have enough time to see everybody. So just because they didn't, if they didn't get around to seeing everything on day one, they will come back on day two. So if you haven't seen them on the first day, you might see them on the second one. So you may be busier in your location on day two than on day one, depending on where you are. But yeah, about 3,000 is what we expect every year in terms of attendees. How does Toronto compare with Vancouver? Do more people attend? It's not substantially different. I think there's a difference of maybe a couple hundred people more in Toronto than Vancouver. So yes, I guess the answer is yes, more people attend, but not it's not double or anything.
Irene, if I can add to that, so it's just very important to remember there are two very different regions. Vancouver, West Canada, it's very different than Toronto. So just keep in mind that when you're dealing with retailers and people attending the show, so they might be looking for different things. Sometimes we do have retailers that attend both shows, but they're looking for listings or opportunities in different categories and different regions. So just make sure that you treat those shows together, but at the same time with similar but somewhat different objectives as well. So I would like to add that, just because the vibe can be very different from both.
Okay, I'm still catching up. I see that some of the team is answering some of the messages as we're reading them. This one hasn't been answered yet, so I'll just read it out. When do we provide our product for the product showcase to you guys? Do we need to send it ahead of time or bring it in on our move-in day? So Carrie will be sending out an email with all that information, but she can also tell you quickly.
Sorry, I was just trying to find that one. Where are we here? Oops. Sorry, I was answering another question, so I got distracted with that one.
No worries. So
Okay.
we do take it during move-in, but the actual hours when we're open will be in Carrie's email. So everybody who's booked in product showcase will get an email with all the instructions. So just take a look at that schedule. It doesn't start quite at the same time as move-in, just because we do have to install the showcases and clean them and all that. But there will be a schedule in the email that you can go by, and there will be an attendant there during those times to receive your product and to open the showcase for you so you can place your product.
And just actually touching on that point as well, the shelves are assigned. So we have had instances where people will come and try and rearrange the shelf numbers, but that is not permitted. So please note that we will have the attendees there. So if something is moved, they will realign that as well to make sure that it is where the assigned booth should be.
Okay, doesn't look like anyone's answered this one, so I'll put it out there. Is there an attendee list of companies available? They're trying to get a better understanding of specific independent, natural and specialty stores and hospitality buyers. Also, so that's the first question, so I'll pass this one on to Cindy.
Yeah, so we do provide a list of attendees closer to the show. So sometime in early August, you should see it on our website. It is just names. We do not share our list emails to anyone. So if you do ever get those emails, scams that try to sell you lists to our show, those are not authorized by us. We do not provide that out to third parties. So please do not fall for those emails. So yeah, just to answer your question there, we will provide that closer to the show and it'll be linked on our website.
Okay, and the second part of the question was for new brands. I'm going to pass this one on to Scott. For new brands who aren't represented by a broker or distributor, any do's and don'ts for the show? So my guess is you're looking for a broker or distributor.
Yeah, I would suggest making sure that you show up and you're ready with everything, and you understand your place within the retail environment. So if you go to a store and you find out where you fit, then you can tell people the reason why you started your company, and then you can also say where you're going to fit in the store and the advantages of why someone would list you. Most of the people that you're going to want to be talking to are retailers. The first step is to get into the natural and independent. They're going to be able to answer those or list you quite quickly. And then if you do have a moment, there's some excellent brokers and distributors within the CHFA Now shows. You can make contact with them at the show, take their information, don't give them a full pitch, just talk to them a little bit about it, or even better yet, invite them to come and see you at your booth, because there's experts at launching brands with distribution. So think about where you're going to fit in the natural and independent stores, and then also think about how you can make contact with some of these great brokers and distributors that are experts at launching brands. I hope that answers your question.
Perfect. Thank you, Scott. And I also have one that's sort of adjacent for you. Kaylee Beth is asking, I wasn't able to get into Incubator Alley. Do you have any recommendations for first-time vendors with a regular booth?
Yes. I would recommend taking a look at some of the tips I shared earlier. That applies to whether you're an Incubator Alley, you're independent, or you're working with a broker or distributor. It all applies. You know, the number one thing really is to bring attention to yourself. So how do you express why someone would want to list you? You need to get that information out there. Send people invites. If you don't have that contact list now, then prepare yourself by going to the store and find out exactly where you'd fit, so that your pitch is applicable to each of the retailers that will come. People are not going to have a ton of time when they come and see you. The retailers are going to want to see a lot of people. So keep it short, keep it concise, know where you fit, and understand that a lot of the business is going to be done away from the show floor, but this is a time for you to quickly and efficiently get your message out there, get that contact information. And I highly recommend, some of the best success I've had in my career has been scanning the badges. Look for that software information, because it's so much easier to follow up with people when you have an exported document and take a look, rather than going through all the business cards. Highly recommend that.
Great
And
advice.
just to add,
make a good first impression.
Just to add, we do have that lead retrieval available for you to order in the exhibitor manual. I believe there may be an early bird deadline, so you can check that out as soon as possible. Get that. It's a very helpful tool for you, as Scott mentioned.
And it comes in an app on your phone as well. So you don't need necessarily the little device. You can just get the app version and install it on your phone. All right.
So sorry, Irina, just as a reminder for every exhibitor, new first time exhibiting or it being exhibiting several times, make sure that you go through the exhibitor manual. Most of the questions that we are receiving on the chat are already in the exhibitor manual and also on our website. We put a lot of time. We collected all the questions from previous shows and we made sure that all are answered in our website. So just make sure that you take time, grab a cup of coffee, tea, or whatever it is. Just sit outside in the sunshine and go through the exhibitor manual. It's a little bit lengthy, but all the information that's been included that is extremely important to all exhibitors. So I highly recommend you just going through the exhibitor manual at least twice to make sure that you didn't miss any deadlines. Sorry, Irina, go ahead.
No problem. Just going to do a couple more real quick. Mira is asking if there are any chairs provided in the Incubator Alley booth, and no, there are not. And I'll answer the next one quickly as well. Is pre-registration required for any of the networking or anniversary events? No, not for the networking or anniversary events. You do have to be a member for the 60th anniversary member mixer. There is pre-registration required for the paid functions. So the lunch speaker on Friday, as well as the regulatory session on Thursday. And then let's see what else we're getting here. I saw a good one down here. Somebody is asking, Kunal is asking, sell sheets and business cards, are they a good idea or is it redundant due to badge scanning or platform offered? So the attendees do not have a scanning device for you. It's you who has the scanning device to scan their badges. So the sell sheets and business cards, sell sheets in particular, definitely a good idea. And business cards, depending on how you do them, for sure. I've seen a lot of those digital little QR codes that people can scan now instead of business cards, more sustainable, and we're all about sustainability. So yeah, however you do your business cards, definitely have them with you. And let's see. Are you allowed to bring in your own chair? Yes, you are allowed to bring in whatever furniture you need. It's not a problem. Whatever fits the look of your booth the best, you are allowed to bring it in. What you're not allowed to do is build it. So for example, if you're buying, I don't know, an IKEA shelf, or something like that. As we often see at the show, you can't be putting it together at the show because then the union people will take issue with that. But you are allowed to bring in furniture that's already been assembled. Okay, just moving through the questions. I hope I haven't missed any because I'm still in the chat. I still haven't popped into the Q&A. Do we scan people's badges with our phone or do we need to purchase a device to do it? It's either or. So either you get the device or you get the app. You pay for both. It's just your preference, which how you want to handle the scanning. And I'm just gonna quickly pop into the Q&A. I'm not sure if anyone's been, I see that a bunch of them have comments, so hopefully they've been answered by the rest of the team. I know we only have a few minutes left. I feel like we've answered most of these. Sharing, yeah, I feel like most of these have been answered. Who can enter the CHFA Launchpad? This one hasn't been answered. Who can enter the CHFA Launchpad? What type of products? So anybody can enter the CHFA Launchpad, and we encourage you to apply. If in doubt, apply. There are some criteria for applying, but again, if in doubt, just do it. And then see how it works out. But we love all kinds of products in Launchpad, not just food. We love to see new products of all kinds. Okay. Help me out, team, if there's anything that I've missed.
I'll jump in. One person has asked, do we have an e-blast? So we have our exhibitor e-blast, which the next one is going out August 8th. It is sent to the primary and main contact person who has signed up for the booth. So if you don't receive it, that would be why. Maybe reach out to your key contact person and they can forward it over to you. Or again, have a look at everything that's being sent out in the e-blast. Is a lot of it is just the reminders as to the key deadlines. So again, have a look at the exhibitor manual and the key dates calendar.
And also make sure that you add the sales and the events email to your address book. A lot of our exhibitors have mentioned that our emails go to the spam folder. The reason why we send emails, just deadlines and reminders. So just make sure that you add our email address to your address book.
Those are on screen right now, so please save them. They're also available on our website as well if you missed them. I did see one question about the product showcase and what we would recommend people include in the showcases. I think it's very dependent on your product. I think, providing a lot of text, like a whole sell sheet, may not be the best solution because retailers are scanning through, they're looking at the products and not necessarily standing there and reading a whole full page sell sheet. So if you can put like your branding very prominent, some people like to decorate it with like plants and make it look pretty to help you stand out. So I encourage you to kind of think a little bit outside of the box, but not like don't go too crazy because we do have to clean it up afterwards. And we've seen people put like rice and like seeds, and although it's very nice, it does get a little bit messy. So just keep that in mind. But really, it's whatever you can do to help make your product stand out and showing packaging and stuff like that. So those would be my tips to you.
Yeah, and the product showcase is two sides. So make sure that whatever you're doing on one side, you bring signage or anything that could be seen on both sides. Whoever is walking on one end is going to be walking the other side too. So just make sure that you cover both sides with your display so everybody can see it.
One other thing, speaking of decorating your display cabinet, I'm not sure if everybody is aware, but we do have a Best Booth Award that is presented at the show. So I have actually just placed in the chat the Booth Awards criteria. So it's a fun way to get recognized. And then your booth is highlighted at the awards as well as at the CHFA member booth.
Yeah.
And with that, we can wrap it up. You do have all of our emails in the last slide. So questions on membership, booth purchase, sponsorship, marketing opportunities, sales@chfa.ca, and then questions on booth setup, display guidelines, conference, or anything else, events@chfa.ca. And then you can reach our PR team about PR and media opportunities at pr@chfa.ca. And with that, we thank everyone for joining us and look forward to the recording popping up in your email very soonish, probably tomorrow. And if you do have any other questions, once again, you know where to find us.
Thank you,
Thank you
everyone.
so much.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.